World Numismatic Finds proudly presents a dazzling glimpse into Britain's treasured past. The UK One Shilling coins have continued to spark excitement among collectors and investors alike. From the 1948 lion seated on the crown showing hints of age, to the 1961 and 1954 crown shield coins gleaming with the bold three lions of England, and the 1963 edition where the lion proudly stands beside the shield, each piece tells a royal story of power and heritage. Even the 1951 shilling, with its majestic lion perched regally on the crown, remains a stunning example of post-war British craftsmanship. These coins, whether slightly worn or finely preserved, are fast becoming sought-after gems in the collector's market, a true reminder that old change can still command new fortunes. Let's begin with the remarkable 1948 UK One Shilling coin, a piece that carries not just metal value but a powerful symbol of post-war Britain's pride and resilience. This particular coin, even with a little dirt or tarnish from circulation, remains an alluring find for collectors, offering both charm and historical depth. The 1948 One Shilling coin, featuring the iconic lion seated on the crown, stands as a proud emblem of the United Kingdom's monarchy and enduring strength during a time when the nation was rebuilding from the hardships of World War II. The 1948 One Shilling was minted under the reign of King George VI, whose portrait graces the obverse side of the coin. On this side, you can see the finely detailed effigy of the king facing left, designed by Thomas Humphrey Paget. His name is encircled with a Latin inscription Georgiv 6D GBROMN Rex F Laughing Smiley Deaf, translating to George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith. This regal portrait captures the grace and solemnity of a monarch who guided the United Kingdom through and beyond the turbulent war years. On the reverse, the coin displays a magnificent lion seated atop the crown, symbolizing British courage, dignity, and monarchy. The word One Shilling and the date 1948 appear beneath, all enclosed in an elegant design that epitomizes the craftsmanship and national pride of the Royal Mint. From a cultural and historical standpoint, this coin holds immense value. The post-war era of 1948 marked a time of reconstruction and renewal in Britain. Coins like the One Shilling were part of everyday life, used in markets, shops, and wages, but they also carried an emotional connection to national identity and unity. The lion seated upon the crown was not just an ornamental design, it represented a proud and unconquered nation. This was a time when coins were crafted with artistic purpose and patriotic intent, serving as small reminders of the values and strength of the British Empire. The 1948 One Shilling, therefore, stands as both a functional object and a historical document, linking the modern collector directly to that powerful chapter of Britain's past. In terms of specifications, the 1948 One Shilling was struck in cupronickel, a strong and silvery alloy replacing the earlier silver issues. The coin weighs approximately 5.65 grams and has a diameter of 23.6 millimeters, with a reeded edge. These details may seem minor, but for collectors, every measurement adds to the story of authenticity and identity. The shift from silver to cupronickel also marked a significant economic adjustment, symbolizing how Britain adapted its resources and industries after the war to ensure stability and sustainability. Several key facts make this coin truly stand out. It represents the English version of the One Shilling design, as coins of this denomination were issued with both English and Scottish reverses to represent the two nations of the United Kingdom. The English type, featuring the lion on the crown, is especially admired for its bold and royal symbolism. While the 1948 issue was produced in reasonable numbers, finding one today in good collectible condition, even with slight wear or dirt from circulation, remains increasingly difficult. Many of these coins were heavily used or melted down after decimalization in 1971, making original surviving pieces more desirable. When it comes to rarity and condition, the coin you hold in slightly dirty but overall intact form tells its own fascinating story. Light tarnish or dirt does not greatly diminish its value. In fact, for many collectors, it adds authenticity and character, showing that the coin has lived through genuine history. In numismatics, condition plays a big part. Coins graded as fine, very fine, or extremely fine command progressively higher prices, but even those with some circulation marks are now sought after due to dwindling supplies in the open market. As for its current market value, the 1948 UK One Shilling coin in a slightly dirty but legible and collectible state can fetch around $1,000 to $1,500 depending on its overall appeal and preservation. However, coins are particularly well kept, with sharp details and minimal wear, can climb higher, sometimes reaching $2,500 or more among collectors specializing in King George VI coinage. Prices can also vary depending on the demand at coin shows, online auctions, where nostalgia and historical significance often boost bids well beyond standard catalog listings. Collectors today show a growing interest in mid-20th century British coins like the 1948 One Shilling because they bridge the gap between the pre-decimal and modern eras. For new and seasoned collectors alike, this coin offers an affordable entry point into Royal British numismatics while still holding potential for appreciation in the years ahead. The key tip for collectors is to focus on coins with strong details on both the king's portrait and the lion emblem, and to store them properly to prevent further tarnish. A gentle cleaning with proper numismatic care, avoiding harsh chemicals, can help preserve its luster without damaging the coin's authenticity or surface. In conclusion, the 1948 UK One Shilling coin is far more than just an old piece of change. It's a historical artifact from an era of British pride, recovery, and craftsmanship. With its striking design of the lion seated upon the crown, it tells a tale of monarchy, resilience, and artistic excellence. Even in slightly dirty or circulated condition, it holds undeniable charm and value for anyone who appreciates the story each coin carries. Whether you're an avid collector or a curious beginner, this coin is a worthy addition to any collection and a delightful reminder that sometimes the smallest pieces of metal can hold the biggest pieces of history. At number 2, the 1961 UK One Shilling coin, a remarkable piece that stands as both a relic of mid-20th century Britain and a hidden treasure in the eyes of collectors. This particular coin, from the year 1961, is in good condition and features the iconic crown shield design containing 3 lions, a symbol steeped in royal heritage and national pride. Though it might seem an ordinary coin at first glance, its numismatic and historical worth goes far beyond its face value, and many collectors around the world are willing to pay handsome sums to own such a piece of the United Kingdom's proud past. The background of the 1961 One Shilling takes us back to the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, only a few years after her coronation in 1953. This was a time when Britain was rebuilding from the hardships of the post-war years, and coins like the shilling were still part of everyday life before the decimalization of British currency in 1971. The 1 shilling represented 12 old pence, forming an integral part of the pre-decimal system that many older Britons still remember fondly today. The 1961 issue was struck by the Royal Mint and bears all the hallmarks of craftsmanship and tradition that defined British coinage during that era. Each shilling carried not just monetary value, but also the symbolism of a nation transitioning into a new age of prosperity, confidence, and technological advancement. Looking at the head and tail of the coin, the obverse proudly displays a portrait of a young Queen Elizabeth II, facing right, designed by the acclaimed artist Mary Gillick. This youthful effigy of Her Majesty is celebrated for its elegance and simplicity, embodying both continuity and renewal within the monarchy. The reverse, on the other hand, is what makes this coin truly distinctive. The beautifully detailed crown shield containing the 3 lions passant guardant, representing England's centuries-old heraldic symbol. The design is regal, balanced, and meticulously engraved, a perfect tribute to the strength and unity of the British Isles. For those who hold such coins, it's not just metal they possess, it's a miniature work of art, encapsulating both the sovereignty and history of the realm. Culturally and historically, the 1961 One Shilling is more than just currency. It is a reflection of a changing Britain. It tells the story of an empire evolving into a modern commonwealth, a symbol of stability in a decade marked by global transformation. The design itself echoes England's royal lineage, connecting collectors directly with centuries of heraldic tradition. Coins like this serve as reminders of national identity and craftsmanship, and they are cherished by historians, collectors, and enthusiasts alike for their ability to tell stories far richer than their monetary denomination suggests. In terms of its physical attributes, the 1961 One Shilling coin was struck in cupro-nickel, a resilient combination of copper and nickel, replacing the earlier silver composition used before 1947. The coin weighs approximately 5.65 grams, with a diameter of around 23.5 millimeters, and has a milled edge, giving it a distinct tactile feel associated with traditional British coinage. The durability of the cupro-nickel alloy has helped many examples survive in remarkably good condition, even after decades of circulation, making it possible for collectors today to find specimens that still exhibit crisp detail and pleasing eye appeal. Among the key facts surrounding this coin, one stands out. 1961 was part of a series of 1 shillings minted in significant quantities, yet not all have survived in collectible condition. Many were lost, damaged, or heavily worn through everyday use, making well-preserved pieces increasingly desirable. Coins with sharp detail, minimal surface wear, and natural luster can fetch noticeably higher values in the collector's market, particularly when accompanied by clear date marks and strong reverses showing the full intricacy of the 3 lines design. When it comes to rarity and condition, the 1961 1 shilling is not the rarest coin in existence, yet good condition examples hold considerable appeal because they represent a balance of availability, affordability, and historical charm. Coins graded as good or very fine condition, especially those free from corrosion or deep scratches, are often sought after by collectors looking to complete a mid-century British coin set. The better the condition, the stronger the demand, as aesthetic quality and detail preservation play a major role in determining market desirability. Speaking of market value, as of today, the 1961 1 shilling coin in good condition can command between $1,500 and $3,000 depending on the overall eye appeal, mint sharpness, and presence of any distinctive patina. Exceptional specimens, or those certified by grading authorities, can occasionally reach higher prices, particularly among collectors outside the United Kingdom who are drawn to coins from the early years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign. While these figures may seem modest compared to rare gold or era coins, it's worth noting that the shilling's value has been steadily rising over the past decade, followed by growing interest in British pre-decimal coinage and nostalgia for the coins that once jingled in the pockets of a generation. For collectors and enthusiasts, the best advice when seeking the 1961 1 shilling is to focus on condition and authenticity. Always handle coins carefully, avoid cleaning them harshly, and store them in dry, acid-free holders to preserve their finish. It's also wise to learn about the historical context. Understanding the stories behind the designs adds immense enjoyment and depth to one's collection. Collectors who invest in these coins today are not only preserving a piece of monetary history, but also securing a tangible connection to Britain's cultural and royal legacy. In conclusion, the 1961 1 shilling coin remains an elegant and meaningful emblem of mid-century Britain, carrying both sentimental and numismatic value. Its classic crown shield with 3 lions tells of national pride, resilience, and artistry, while its depiction of a young Queen Elizabeth II captures the spirit of a nation entering a new era of optimism. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a curious newcomer, this coin represents a perfect starting point, affordable, beautiful, and rich with history. Over time, its desirability continues to rise, proving that even small pieces of metal can hold immense worth in the eyes of those who cherish Britain's royal and cultural heritage. So, if you happen to come across a 1961 1 shilling in good condition, treasure it well, for within its silver-grey gleam lies a proud chapter of British history that continues to shine today. At number, the 1954 1 shilling coin represents a significant period in Britain's post-war era, a time when the nation was rebuilding, industries were modernizing, and the monarchy was rejuvenating under the newly crowned Queen Elizabeth II. This coin reflects the elegance and stability of the new era. It was struck in cupro-nickel, replacing the older silver content used in earlier decades, symbolizing a shift towards durability and practicality in everyday currency. On the obverse, we find the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by the talented sculptor Mary Gillick. Her image, bareheaded and gracefully facing right, embodies the fresh optimism of a new reign. Unlike later portraits, this early depiction captures the Queen's simplicity and regal poise without the crown, a deliberate choice to project a more modern and relatable monarch to her people. The inscription surrounding her portrait reads Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Brit, OMN, Regina of Laughing Smiley Colon, meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith. Turning to the reverse side, the artistry of the 1954 1 shilling coin is unmistakable. The design, by William Gardner, showcases a traditional crown shield containing 3 lions passing guarded, representing the emblem of England. The crown sits proudly above the shield, a strong symbol of national unity and monarchy. The inscription FID, Def, 1 shilling frames the central design, marking both its denomination and its proud identity as a symbol of Great Britain. This reverse design carries immense historical and cultural weight, being rooted in centuries of English heraldry, where the lions signify courage, strength, and endurance, traits synonymous with the spirit of the British people. Weighing approximately 5.65 grams and measuring around 23.6 millimeters in diameter, this coin was struck in cupro nickel rather than silver, as the silver content in shillings was phased out after 1946. Despite that, the 1954 1 shilling remains a tangible link to the era of pre-decimal currency, a system that remained in use until 1971, when the United Kingdom fully adopted decimalization. Each shilling, equal to 12 old pence, played an integral role in the daily economy, circulating in shops, markets, and pockets across the nation. There are several key facts that make the 1954 issue special to collectors. Firstly, it was among the early 1 shilling coins struck during the Queen's first decade on the throne, which gives it a deeper sentimental and historical appeal. Secondly, while it was a regular circulation coin, the 1954 pieces were produced in relatively modest numbers compared to later years, making them slightly harder to find in pristine form today. The design of the crown shield featuring 3 lions, specific to England, also distinguishes it from the Scottish version of the shilling, which bears the rampant lion on its shield. Collectors often seek to complete both variations, and this English version from 1954 tend to attract particular admiration due to its clean, bold relief and the rich symbolism embedded in its imagery. In terms of rarity and condition, coins from 1954 are generally considered moderately scarce in high grades, while circulated examples, such as the one we are discussing today, remain accessible. Finding a well-preserved specimen with crisp detail and minimal wear is becoming increasingly difficult. Many coins from this era have experienced decades of handling and loss of luster, yet those that retain strong definition on both the Queen's portrait and the shield can fetch attractive prices in the collector's market. A 1954 1 shilling in circulation condition may range between $1,500 and $4,000, but coins in very fine to extremely fine grades can reach $1,000 to $2,000 depending on market trends, while uncirculated or proof-like specimens can exceed $3,000 to $5,000 at auction, particularly if authenticated and graded by reputable numismatic services. The cultural and historical importance of this coin lies not merely in its face value or metallic composition, but in what it represents. It was one of the first shillings to circulate widely under Queen Elizabeth II, marking the beginning of a new era for British coinage and for the monarchy itself. For the British public in the 1950s, this coin symbolized both continuity and renewal, a reminder of resilience after the hardships of World War II and a testament to a nation confidently stepping into a modern age. For collectors today, it is a piece of living history that connects us to that optimism, embodying both craftsmanship and heritage in a small but powerful artifact. Collector demand for mid-century shillings has risen steadily in recent years, especially among enthusiasts who focus on complete date runs of Elizabeth II's pre-decimal series. The appeal lies not just in the coin's design, but in its role as part of Britain's broader monetary story. Even in circulated condition, the 1954 1 shilling continues to be highly desirable, especially when it retains good surface detail and an even tone. Many collectors appreciate it for its charm, historical depth, and its place within one of the most recognizable denominations of British coinage. For those interested in collecting or investing in coins like this, a few tips can go a long way. Always look for coins with clear detail on the Queen's facial features and the lions on the reverse. Avoid heavily corroded or polished examples, as these diminish long-term value. If possible, store the coin in a protective holder to prevent further wear. Keep in mind that provenance and authenticity also enhance desirability, so verifying its originality and date is always worthwhile. In conclusion, the 1954 1 shilling coin is far more than an ordinary relic of currency. It's a striking emblem of Britain's royal and cultural heritage, an artifact that reflects a transition into modern monarchy and mid-century design. Even in circulated condition, it remains a highly admired collectible among numismatists and history enthusiasts alike. Its fine craftsmanship, heraldic beauty, and enduring symbolism continue to attract attention in today's coin market, where nostalgia meets tangible value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning your numismatic journey, this 1954 one shilling is a wonderful addition to any collection, a reminder of a young queen, a proud nation, and a coinage legacy that still inspires admiration around the world. At number 4, the 1 shilling coin of 1963 belongs to the last decade of the pre-decimal British currency system, a time before decimalization reshaped the nation's money in 1971. The shilling represented 1/20th of a pound sterling, equivalent to 12 old pence, and served as one of the most common yet symbolic coins in everyday British life. However, what makes the 1963 issue truly fascinating is not merely its circulation, but its enduring representation of post-war Britain's identity and its connection to the United Kingdom's centuries-old heraldic tradition. It's a tangible link to an era of rebuilding, optimism, and continuity under a young Queen Elizabeth II, who had ascended the throne only a decade earlier. On the obverse side, or what we call the head of the coin, is a youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick. This elegant design showcases a queen wearing a laurel wreath rather than a crown, reflecting both dignity and freshness. It became one of the most recognizable portraits in British numismatic history, and remained on coin for well over a decade. The inscription reads Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina FD, which translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This traditional phrasing captures the continuity of British monarchy and the deep respect for heritage that the nation has always upheld. Turning over to the reverse, the tail side, we find the heart of the coin's artistic identity. The 1963 shilling exists in two variants, one representing England and the other Scotland. The English reverse, which we focus on today, displays a magnificent lion standing proudly beside a crown shield. This design was created by William Gardner and reflects the English coat of arms with remarkable detail and symmetry. The lion, a timeless symbol of courage and strength, stands confidently beside the shield that bears a familiar pattern of 3 lions passing guardant, the heraldic emblem of England since the time of Richard the Lionheart. Surrounding the central design is the inscription FID Def 1 Shilling 1963. The design beautifully combines regality with craftsmanship, embodying the pride and unity of the United Kingdom during the mid-20th century. In terms of composition and weight, the 1963 1 shilling coin was struck in cupro nickel, following the discontinuation of silver content in 1947. It weighs approximately 5.65 grams, with a diameter of 23.5 millimeters. Despite being a common coin in circulation at the time, these specific measurements and the fine metallic finish make it a delight for collectors who value both accuracy and authenticity in vintage British currency. Its milled edge provides a tactile texture, adding to the overall aesthetic and preventing forgery, a subtle but important detail in minting excellence. When we consider the cultural and historical importance of this coin, it stands as more than a small piece of metal. It represents the strength of post-war Britain, the steadfastness of the monarchy, and the artistry of an era where coins were crafted with purpose and symbolism. The lion standing beside the crown shield is not just a decorative emblem, it's a statement of national identity and pride. In a time when Britain was finding its footing in a new world order, this coin reminded every citizen of their shared heritage and resilience. Today, owning a 1963 1 shilling coin is akin to holding a small piece of mid-century British history in your hand, a token of a nation's unwavering spirit. Collectors often seek out the 1963 1 shilling for its artistry, condition, and rarity in high-grade examples. While it is not considered the rarest shilling ever minted, those preserved in fine to uncirculated condition have become increasingly desirable due to their age and symbolic design. The condition plays a critical role. Coins that maintain sharp details, clear inscriptions, and minimal will command a higher value in today's market. With a demand for pre-decimal British coins growing steadily, especially among collectors in the United States and Europe, the 1963 1 shilling has carved out its own place as a popular addition to many vintage collections. In terms of current market value, a 1963 1 shilling in average circulated condition typically trades for around $500 to $1,000 US. However, When the coin is found in fine to very fine condition, the value may rise to between $2,000 and $2,500 depending on overall preservation and demand. For coins in extremely fine or uncirculated condition, values can reach $1,500 to $3,000 or more in niche collector circles, particularly when verified by professional grading services. Some beautifully toned or near-mint examples have been known to fetch $4,000 or above, especially when paired with provenance or sold at reputable auctions. While not a fortune, its growing desirability and cultural weight make it a stable and appreciated piece in the numismatic market. For collectors seeking to add this coin to their collection, it's essential to focus on condition, originality, and provenance. Avoid harshly cleaned examples, as cleaning often reduces numismatic value. Look for coins with crisp details around the lion's mane and shield, as these areas are usually the first to show wear. Keep your coin stored in a dry, temperature-controlled environment, using acid-free holders or capsules to maintain their condition. Many collectors also find it rewarding to build a small set of Queen Elizabeth II 1 shilling coins from the 1950s through the 1960s, a complete visual timeline of Britain's pre-decimal coinage before the shift to the modern system. In conclusion, the 1963 1 shilling coin with a lion standing beside the crown shield remains a proud emblem of British tradition and artistry. Its modest face value belies the cultural and historical depth it carries, representing a significant chapter in the story of British currency. With fine examples becoming increasingly admired and collected, this coin continues to prove that even the most ordinary object of the past can grow into extraordinary treasures of the present. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or a newcomer exploring the world of old British coins, the 1963 1 shilling offers both a tangible piece of history and a rewarding investment in heritage, a shining reminder that small coins often carry the greatest stories. At last, the 1951 shilling. We must go back to its origins. The coin represents a time when the United Kingdom was still recovering from the effects of the Second World War, rebuilding its economy and reaffirming its global influence. Coins of this era were not merely a means of trade. They symbolized strength, unity, and continuity under the crown. Issued between 1948 and 1952, the George VI shillings featured two main designs, one for England, showing the lion atop the crown, and one for Scotland, depicting a rampant lion within a double border. The 1950 English version, which we're exploring today, stands out for its bold imagery and exceptional craftsmanship. On the obverse, the coin bears a portrait of King George VI, facing left, crafted by the talented sculptor Thomas Humphrey Paget. The Latin inscription around the edge reads Georgiv 6D G Bauem and Rex Fide Def, which translates to George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith. This regal representation of the monarch reminds us of the era's sense of duty and stability, an age when coins were still tangible reflections of national pride and the crown's authority. Turning to the reverse, the magnificent design by George Kruger Gray takes center stage. The powerful lion seated proudly on the crown is not just a decorative motif, it is a symbol of British sovereignty and courage. Beneath the crown lies the inscription 1 shilling, along with the year 1950, and the word FID, Def, short for Fide Defensa, meaning Defender of the Faith. The design radiates a timeless sense of dignity and tradition, capturing the essence of post-war Britain in a single, masterfully struck image. Culturally and historically, the 1951 shilling holds an extraordinary place. It represents the transitional years leading up to the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, bridging the old world and the new. Every coin from this period carries a silent story of British endurance, craftsmanship, and continuity, qualities that still attract collectors from across the globe. The shilling was, of course, part of the pre-decimal currency system, 12 pence to a shilling, and 20 shillings to a pound, making it a central part of everyday life before decimalization in 1971 completely changed the British monetary landscape. In terms of physical details, the 1951 shilling coin is composed of copper nickel, as the UK had already stopped producing silver coinage after 1946. The coin weighs approximately 5.65 grams and has a diameter of 23.5 millimeters. Its milled edge and balanced proportions make it a pleasing coin to hold, while the shine and relief of a well-preserved piece can still captivate the eye even 75 years later. When discussing key facts, It's important to highlight that coins from 1950 were struck in relatively modest numbers compared to other years, making well-preserved examples particularly sought after today. A coin in very fine condition, such as the one we're examining, often displays clear details on both the king's portrait and the lion design, with minimal surface wear. The definition around the crown and the lion's mane, as well as the sharpness of the lettering, adds immense value to the piece. In the world of coin collecting, condition and rarity are everything, and this 1951 shilling truly shines in both aspects. Coins in very fine condition tend to attract high collector interest because they strike the perfect balance between affordability and visual appeal. Such pieces retain historical integrity while remaining accessible to serious enthusiasts. As of today, the current market value for a 1951 shilling in very fine condition can range between $800 to $2,000, though some specimens in exceptionally sharp or near-mint condition have been known to reach $3,500 or more at auction, particularly when provenance or rarity factors play a role. Demand for these coins continues to grow among collectors who value post-war British coinage. Many are drawn not only to the coin's design but also to its historical backdrop, a time when King George VI's reign embodied perseverance, modest strength, and the steady rebuilding of Britain. As the years pass, the availability of high-grade coins from this era is slowly diminishing, which has caused steady appreciation in value over the last decade. For those interested in collecting, a few useful tips can help maximize both enjoyment and investment potential. Always look for coins with strong definition in the king's portrait and clear relief in the lion's features. These indicate careful preservation and minimal circulation. Storing coins in protective sleeves or coin capsules can prevent tarnishing and maintain their appeal. Avoid polishing, as it can reduce a coin's natural patina and collector value. Acquiring certified or graded examples from reputable dealers also ensures authenticity and long-term confidence in your collection. In conclusion, the 1950 UK One Shilling coin featuring the lion seated on the crown remains a distinguished symbol of Britain's post-war legacy and royal pride. Its detailed artwork, its association with King George VI, and its lasting cultural significance make it an irresistible find for numismatists and history lovers alike. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to stay tuned to Wild Numismatic Finds for more rare and valuable coin discoveries from around the world.